Wilson from the parish of Kingston. Herman Wilson has been serving the 4-H Club since 1994, when she entered the gates of the Windward Road Primary and Junior High School. With a keen interest in food preparation, she undertook several leaders' training sessions and quickly moved up the ranks to that of commercial chef in 2009. She is currently a chef de partie. She has helped to guide her school to achieve top awards in cake making and decorating, rabbit care and management, circumposing and potting, agro-processing competitions. Among many other accolades, she was named in 2012 by the National Leaders Association as the most helpful leader. She currently serves as a recording secretary on the Kingston 4-H Club's Parish Advisory Council. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Herman Wilson, and she will receive her plaque from Her Excellency. Next, we go to the parish of St. Thomas, and I call upon Mrs. Claretta Warren Beeson. And let me just add at this time, if a nominee is not present, we are going to ask either the PDO or another representative of the council in that parish to accept on that person's behalf. Mrs. Beeson has served the Jamaica 4-H clubs for over 35 years. Yes, that does deserve a round of applause. She was a clubite in school and became leader of the 4-H clubs during her teaching years at Duckenfield, Arcadia, Winchester, and Old Pera primary schools. She has served on the Leaders Executive and the Parish Advisory Council in the capacities of President and Secretary, respectively. She is a flexible and reliable member of the St. Thomas 4-H Parish Advisory Council and a reputable trainer in home economic areas such as pantry towel, cushion making, and tray cloth. She demonstrates dedication and genuine love for 4-H and strongly believes in youth development. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Claretta Warren Beeson from St. Thomas. And we go next door now to the parish of Portland, and I call on Miss Denise Panton. And that should be Mrs. Panton, my apologies. Mrs. Panton has been a teacher at the Titchfield High School since 1979. She ensures that her clubites fully utilize their skills, not only for club work, but also by extension to the members of the Port Antonio community. She is integrally involved in skills training projects such as banner and poster making competitions and home economics. She describes the 4-H clubs as one of the most vibrant activities for the youth and their development. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Denise Panton. And we go now to St. Andrew, and I call upon Mr. Derek Vermont, and let me properly say Mr. Derek Vermont, OD. And we hear it again, ladies and gentlemen, go Daddy! Mr. Vermont has had a long association with the Jamaica 4-H clubs, beginning with his membership in 1948. His experience as a livestock specialist is well renowned, particularly with goats, cattle, and rabbits. He has also served in other capacities such as IAC chairman, board director, and is currently the Parish Advisory Council chairman for the St. Andrew 4-H Club. He is also a Clover awardee and, as I mentioned earlier, was recently conferred with the Order of Distinction. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Derek Vermont, OD. Mr. Trevor Stoddart from St. Mary. Mr. Stoddart started his 4-H sojourn as a clubite in Westmoreland in 1955. He represented that parish at the Denby Agricultural Show until 1960. A graduate of the Jamaica School of Agriculture, he became involved in the 4-H clubs in St. James and St. Anne before he relocated to St. Mary in 1972 and has been a member of the Parish Advisory Council ever since 1972. He has served as member, chairman, treasurer, trainer, and judge at Parish and National Achievement Expos. Over the period 1981 to 1990, and I want to hear this from the case table, Mr. Stoddart worked at CASE, where he, yes, thank you CASE, where he assisted with the operations of the 4-H club on the campus. He continues to work closely with the St. Mary 4-H club. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Trevor Stoddart. And he also has a fan club. I now call on Mr. Michael Bellamy, JP, from the parish of St. Catherine. Mr. Bellamy, he has worked with the Victoria Mutual Building Society for 32 years. However, throughout this period, he ensured that his main voluntary activity was with the Jamaica 4-H clubs. He has served the St. Catherine Parish Advisory Council for 16 years and is currently chairman of the council. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Michael Bellamy. And that concludes the awards for the parishes in the Eastern region, and I'd like to thank Your Excellency for making the presentations. And we're going to go now to the Central region, and I'm going to call on our Permanent Secretary, Mr. Donovan Stanbury, to make the following presentations. And we go now to the parish of St. Anne. Miss Christine Lawrence. Mrs. Lawrence has been a 4-H leader serving the parish for over 10 years. She has served the St. Anne Leaders Association in capacities as secretary, vice president, and president. She continues to give dedicated service to her clubites and her fellow leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Christine Lawrence. Esme Drummond Harris from Clarendon. She is not, oh, she is here. No, she isn't, okay. And a colleague is accepting on her behalf. Mrs. Esme Drummond Harris has been a 4-H leader since 1990. She attributes her 4-H involvement to the then Parish Development Officer Edith Wigan, who encouraged her to get involved with 4-H work. Over the years, her achievements at the Mucka Primary include having champions in most 4-H events at the parish and national levels, including Boy of the Year at both the parish and national levels in 2012, 7-time Parish Rabbit Care and Management Champion, as well as Public Speaking, Girl of the Year, and Essay Competition Champions. Her clubites have also excelled in youth in agriculture competitions at the Denby Agricultural Show, in seedbed preparation and food preparation. Mrs. Esme Drummond Harris from Clarendon. And of course, her award is being accepted on her behalf by... We go now to the neighboring parish of Manchester, and we call on Laura Palmer. Mrs. Laura Palmer worked at the Morgan's Forest Primary and Infant School during the period November 1970 to August 2012. She has been a 4-H leader with the Manchester 4-H Club for the period 2002 to 2012. She held the position as Leaders President for the club year 2009 to 2010 and was awarded Leader of the Year for Manchester in 2010. She currently serves as a Public Relations Officer on the Manchester 4-H Parish Advisory Council. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Laura Palmer. And we go further down the south coast to St. Elizabeth, and we call on Jeremy Palmer, JP, and I don't think there's any relation here. Now, when I read this profile, this one was really historical. Mr. Jeremy Palmer, yes, that's how much of an impact his profile had on me. Mr. Jeremy Palmer became a 4-H clubite in 1964 at the Ballards Valley Elementary School. In the same year, not only did he participate in the Parish Achievement Day, but was also elected vice president of his club. In 1965, when the Jamaica 4-H Club celebrated 25 years, he began his training in cattle judging and participated in both parish and national achievement days. Later that year, he was selected to represent Jamaica at the Royal Show in England to do cattle judging. He returned and became president of the Ballards Valley Club. 2 years later, in 1967, he was elected as the national president of the 4-H Club, and as such became a member of the Island Advisory Council. He entered the Michael Teachers College that same year and was later elected the president of the Michael 4-H Leaders Club. As a school principal in rural St. Andrew, he started a 4-H club which participated in the achievement days and was also appointed as a 4-H representative to the Yalas Valley Area Land Authority as it was then. He currently serves as a member and vice chairman of the St. Elizabeth 4-H Parish Advisory Council. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jeremy Palmer, JP. Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Thank you, Mr. Stanbury. And we go now to the Western region, and I'm going to call on the Chief Education Officer in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Grace McLean, to make these presentations. I call on Ms. Marlene McGregor. And Ms. McGregor is not here, so you're accepting on her behalf. Ms. Marlene McGregor has been a member of the St. James 4-H Advisory Council and Leaders Association for over 15 years. She has served as president of the Parish Leaders Association, Public Relations Officer, and is currently the Recording Secretary to the Parish Advisory Council. She is a teacher at the Montego Bay High School for Girls, which boasts a very active club. This club has won the championship award for a number of years and has had many parish winners moving on to represent the parish at the National Achievement Expo. Ms. McGregor has been awarded Leader of the Year on at least 7 occasions due to her involvement and commitment to the movement. She has played an integral role in several parish projects, the major being the annual Nyamins and Jamins Food Festival, where she organizes and executes the Mr. and Miss 4-H pageant. She continues to give her service steadfastly to the 4-H movement. Miss Marlene McGregor, ladies and gentlemen. We go now to Trelawney, Yam Country, and we call on Mrs. Phyllis K. Farquharson. Dr. McGregor. Affectionately known as Miss K, Mrs. Farquharson is a native of Polson, Montana, USA. Her first 4-H experience came in 1940 when her family moved to Minnesota. Fast forward to the 1970s when she came to Jamaica to teach and also met her future husband. During the 1980s, she became involved in 4-H activities in Trelawney. From then on, Ms. K has been involved in many training activities, in particular in rabbit care and management. She has also been active in the Parish Advisory Council, serving in the capacities of Recording Secretary and Treasurer. She currently serves as Assistant Secretary. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Phyllis K. Farquharson. To the Parish of Hanover now we go. And we call on Mr. Evelyn Marks. Mr. Marks started with the Jamaica 4-H clubs in 1956 at the Bethel All-Age School as a leader, and then again in 1963 at Sandy Bay All-Age. He has approximately 60 years of service to the Jamaica 4-H clubs. Some of his achievements include 1970 to 1988, Chairman of the 4-H Grange Hill Area Land Authority. 1989 to 1996, Vice Chairman of the Hanover PAC, and that's the Parish Advisory Council. 1992 to 1993, Chairman of the Island Advisory Council. 1992 to 2004, Chairman of the Hanover Parish Advisory Council, and again 2008, and he's the current Chairman of the Hanover Parish Advisory Council. During his leadership as ISC chairman, he helped to resuscitate the Caribbean 4-H Council and started a computer lab at Rose Hill and Font Hill training centers. While he was chairman for the Island Advisory Council, he served on the national board as chairman for the Center Development Committee, during which time he acquired funding from MIDA to start up programs at the centers and at the parish level. Mr. Marks continues to give his support to the Hanover 4-H clubs and is very honored to be a part of such a noble movement. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Evelyn Marks. And the final one now, from Westmoreland, Mrs. Euphemia Samuels. Mrs. Samuels is not here, so I'm going to ask Mr. Maxwell Rodney, Parish Development Officer. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Gordon, our newly minted IAC chairman, will accept on Mrs. Samuels' behalf. Mrs. Euphemia Samuels has been a member of the Westmoreland PAC for over 25 years. As a leader at the Maud McLeod High School, she was an active member of the Westmoreland 4-H Leaders Association. Even upon retiring, she continues to play an active role in the development of the youth in the parish by way of assisting at Parish Achievement Days. She was instrumental in getting the revolving trophy started in the parish and has also sponsored the revolving trophy for poultry care and management. She has also served as a member of the IAC executive body for a number of years, as well as treasurer for the PAC. She remains a committed and dedicated member of the council. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Euphemia Samuels. And that concludes our volunteer awards. Thank you very much, Dr. McLean. Thank you, other presenters. And of course, thank you, volunteers. Now we're going to go across to our corporate award nominees. And we have 10 categories. And let me just add that these were tough decisions to make. And we want to thank members of the panel, the adjudicating panel, which included external persons, members of the board of directors, as well as internal persons. We have 10 categories, and we're going to ask both Dr. Ronald Blake, our executive director, and our chairman, Senator Norman Grant. I don't know who wants to start the ball rolling, because we're going to do them 5 each. I will call upon Senator Grant to start the ball rolling. And I hear he's the younger of the two.